So I wanted to talk about a fight I saw by mistake, quite literally. I was on YouTube and I saw Mayer versus Sandy Ryan, right? I saw it just pop up on my YouTube feed and I didn't realize they fought. I knew Michaela had a fight coming up. I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of Mayer. I've always rated her boxing skills and her guts and determination. And she's one of these women that speak up for herself. Whether you like it or not, I like the way she speaks up for herself. And if something's not right, she'll tell you it's not right. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. But I've always been a fan of Michaela Mayer. And, you know, obviously her age and her moving up in weight. So there were concerns whether she would be able to handle Ryan, who'd been at the weight a little longer. But what a fight. I know they had their back and forth and bad feeling. And a lot of times in boxing, you see a lot of people with bad blood, and this is bad blood, and that person doesn't like this person. But in the ring, you could see these two, the combinations thrown by both girls. Ryan, Maya had the faster hands, and there was some real bad intent with punches thrown from both ends. Combinations, movements, slipping of punches, catching nice shots, counters. Really, really good fight. Really good fight. And the corners, both corners. I think Mayer's corner had two people in the corner talking, but I think it's because it's a new corner. She had one trainer for a long time. I think it's Malcolm or Al Mitchell, one or the other. Very experienced boxing trainer, and obviously has been in Mayer's corner for a long time. I believe that Kofi, who's a good trainer himself, I think he used to be a fighter. Good on the pads from what I remember. I could be wrong here, but Mayer brought him into campus just to freshen things up, I believe. So they're both in the corner, and I know one was kind of talking over the other, but I think that's because they're still working things out in that corner. But there was no there was no misunderstanding as to who the head trainer was when they were in conversation. It wasn't one person shouting out instructions and then another person shouting instructions, and one person was saying conflicting views or something else. And even when the head trainer felt that Kofi was talking a bit too much, he pulled it back and said, "Oh, okay, thank you." You know, and that's a very calm thing, experienced trainer to be able to handle another person in the corner, things going on inside the ring. It was a high-paced fight. I'll tell you something now, a lot of the male boxers could learn a lot from those two women fighting. It was at a tense pace. It was back and forth punches. It was high-paced. And when you fight that high-paced, that bad blood, bad feeling in there, you need somebody who's calm in the corner, that when things are difficult and things are getting heated, you need your trainer to be calm and give you cool instructions. Not emptying the tank, not roll the dice. Calm, cool instructions. Even when fighters, one of any of the girls were getting caught with shots, you're letting your defenses down. You've taken too many punches. Very calm instructions. And even when Ryan was losing the fight, the trainer knew, look, you're losing the fight, you're going to have to give me everything. And you could see Ryan was dog-tired in the fight, dog-tired. But literally, the trainer's there inspiring her, listen, you need to give me everything you got. I know things haven't been great, but you have to give me everything. And even in if you look at Michaela's corner, trainer was telling him, dig down, use the body shots, really dig down, land body shots. And she followed the instructions of her team. Her team told her what to do. She was going out and following the instructions. That was beautiful to see. Too often we're hearing fighters in the corner with cheerleaders. And one of the biggest problems I think in boxing today, particularly male fighters, is that the fighters think that they are in control. You've got a trainer for a reason. And if you don't pick a trainer that's going to discipline you, if you don't pick a trainer that's going to want to get the best out of you and it's going to put you right in areas and where you think you're right, the trainer's going to come on and say, look, mate, this is what we have to be doing to win the fight. Not a guy cheering, a cheerleader in the corner. Not yes man. No yes man or yes person is going to help you get to the fulfill your best or your best potential, because that yes person will agree with everything you say, even if you're doing bullshit. You know, if your hands are down by your side, if you're pulling straight back from punches, yeah, mate, you do that. You do that. The Ryan Clark from The Pivot, how are you? Valley, Ryan Clark from The Pivot, how are you? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're asking me, you're addressing me, or you're asking me a question, but how are you anyway? Yeah, so I'm just saying to myself that you, back to what I was saying about trainers and fighters, you cannot be a fighter, in my opinion, be a fighter and not have it's the most dangerous sport in the world, where a guy is looking to render you unconscious. You're playing with that. You're actually having a cheerleader in your corner. You're not running. You know, you're not running a race. You're in combat, and you're having a guy at the other end of the other side of the ring who wants to knock you out, who wants to render you unconscious, and you want a yes man in the corner. A yes man is not going to allow you to improve. Like I was saying, how can you improve? How can you improve? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. How can you improve? There's no way you can improve. Hello. How can you improve? Because the yes person is not going to push you when you make it. It's not going to push you to do better. The yes person is going to accept you being average. If you drop your hands by your side, yes, mate, you're doing that right. If you're pulling straight back from punches, yes, mate, you're doing that right. If you are got big holes in your defense when sparring, then, you know, again, it's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen, is it? So, ultimately, you need trainers in your corner. And this Ryan fight of Maeyer was a great fight and a great example to what the men should be watching. The intensity of fight and the reasons of why you need a trainer in your corner. The reasons why you need experience in your corner. Why you can't just pick anybody and everybody. And I think, I'll go one step further. I think fighters that pick poor trainers to fight, we should be pulling back our money and not investing in these fighters. Because if you're investing in a fighter, think about it, you're investing to see your fighter do well. And your fighter doesn't want to do well for themselves. Should we really be supporting these fighters? Because they don't care about the fans. Because they really don't want to win. They're just about money. It's not about them being the best in the world. You know, if you're picking trainers that are poor trainers, you're going to get poor results. You know, each trainer's backgrounds there, and where they've come from. Have they done the work? Have they come up the right way? What is their legacy? What have they done? You know, don't pull out names. What have they done? What have they done in key moments of a fight? Now, the other week last weekend we saw Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, and Ben Davison said, throw the dice. Now, was it a couple of years ago? Tunde Ajayi said, empty the tank. When he said empty the tank, he got absolutely rinsed for saying empty the tank. Ben Davison said, throw the dice. The most terrible advice you could give any fighter, particularly in the heavyweight division. I said this before, what Ben Davison should have been instructed Joshua to do is to clear his head, circle the ring, clear his head, use a jab, grab and push Dubois back. I said this, not roll the dice. Because if you look at it, he did catch Dubois with two good shots. Yeah. Now, if he was using a jab and setting up the right hand, that would have been more, and he had more time to clear his head. Because he was landing good shots. But because he was told to throw the dice, he was doing some crazy things. Left himself open to the right uppercut. That's because you're not training roll the dice. See, the thing is Ben Davison going to be allowed the space and to continue to be in the lofty golden boy position that he's at the moment? Because Tunde Ajayi said empty the tank. Now, a lot of people don't like Tunde because he's outspoken, yeah, and he's confident in what he believes in, and that's fine. But Ben Davison is a consultant, that's what I say, and he was with their the former heavyweight champion of the world, a man who was in a world title fight trying to win a third championship of the world. And you go and tell the fighter who's hurt to throw the dice. Now, it's one of two things. Did Ben Davison say out of ignorance or inexperience? It's one of the two. Because I'm sitting back here and I'm telling you, that's a no-no. There's so many trainers around will tell you that's a no-no. And how is Ben Davison being allowed to get away with that statement? Tunde Ajayi didn't get away with it. Why is Ben being able to get away with it? The double standards which are in boxing is shocking. Why is the media not pulling up the? Why is it still a? Why is Davison allowed to get away with it? Tunde made a miscalculation with the still seasoned Kovalev. Davison has drilled some errors into AJ, in particular dropping the left when he throws. Derek James did not allow that. Well, Derek James didn't allow it because Derek James is a taskmaster and he doesn't care what you think of him. Derek James is a teacher, and he doesn't see personality. And Joshua rolling into his gym. You know, he originally wanted to remodel Deontay Wilder. It wasn't AJ's name he called that. He called that Deontay Wilder. So I know that as a fact. As a fact. So at the end of the day, I think something needs to be done about it, because and it does say a lot about the boxing media. I told you, the boxing media, for the most part, is absolute garbage. I'm being honest, because are they gonna now gun Davison for that? Derek James getting a hold of Wilder in 2019 would have been a great match, but that ship has sailed. Yeah, it would have been. But the thing was that, he said that after the second fight of Ortiz, he said he wanted to work with Wilder and remodel him, because he said he could do work with him. Well, we know what happened to Mark Breeden went, and of course Malik Scott came in, and that was the end of Deontay Wilder's career, to be honest. I saw a video actually the other day of Derek Chisora, and he was questioning Malik Scott, and he asked Malik Scott about allowing Wilder to spin around in training. He said, well, hey, wait, you allowed that? He said, me? I never allowed that. He said, what? Look at this tape here. Basically, Malik Scott walked away. No accountability whatsoever. So when you see things like this being allowed to happen, and then these trainers are then being called up for... I don't want to hear anybody on this talk about Ben Davison again. I don't, because people need to be accountable. If Don Charles has said that, if Tunde Ajayi said that, if Derek James has said that, if James Ali Bashir has said that, if Tommy Brooks has said that, if the great Emmanuel Stewart had said that, it would be never forgotten. Because it's Ben Davison, just sweep it under the carpet. It was a mistake. But up to this day, Tunde Ajayi still has been held to that empty the tank. And how can that be fair? Why can one man say one thing and another man say similar things with probably a lot more on the line, a lot of money invested, and be allowed to get away with it? That's what I wonder. Under Ben Davison, Lee Wood had taken some of the worst losses and absorbed punishment when you could have been boxing. Even Fox reached out to Wood. Well, but while Ben is, I would say, still learning the game, who's suffering in the process. You know, so there was even talk at one point, remember, the Abel Sanchez was training Terry Norris, and look at Terry Norris today, he can hardly put two words together. You know, I tried to get an interview with Terry Norris actually, but it was declined because I'm such a great fighter, but was declined because of the state of Terry Norris. I didn't realise how bad his state was, but pretty bad. But yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. Congratulations to Michaela Mayer. Michaela, I love you so much. I'm so happy for you. I've always been a big fan of your fights. I thought that actually you did beat Natasha Jonas, to be honest with you. The Baumgardner fight was a great fight as well. And I just look forward to seeing you in the welterweight division in some more great fights. You know, exciting fighter, Michaela Mayer. Big fan. Sandy Ryan can come back. And what happened to us is atrocious. I think but that's the sort of thing that if people know your background, your history, if they know that you can be shaken up easily, then that's the sort of things they would do. There's obviously somebody who knew Sandy Ryan well. So, what can I say? Yeah, I think somebody knew about Sandy Ryan. I knew they did what they did. It would shake her up significantly, and it did. Anytime you go to America, you go abroad, you fight abroad, you must brace yourself for such things. Anything is possible. So, you know, not everybody has the ability to switch off like that, switch things off, and a lot of that comes down to experience. That's why Maya could say she can switch things off and get on with it. She's in America. It'd be interesting to see if that incident happened to Maya in England, how she would have responded to it, whether she would respond the same way. But I think maybe Maya's a little bit more experienced, a little older, so she might have handled it better. But there you go, a great fight, and a real fight where you see two trainers, 2.5 trainers with the assistant trainer of Maya. We talk boxing tactics. No throwing the dice, no rolling the dice, no throwing the dice, no emptying the tank, none of that stuff. Real boxing and under pressure, high stakes, world title fight, and 2-minute rounds with a lot of punches being thrown. So it was great to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that for me, high action. Lots of boxing education going on both corners, and lots of action, and you could feel the intensity of it as well. So yeah, lived up to the hype for me. I'd love to see those two girls fight again. Yeah, I think that's about it for that. Thank you as always. Don't forget to rate and subscribe, and of course get yourself over to BWTM Gaming. That's our channel now. I do a lot of gaming. I've got my PS5 now, so I'm just about to play Batman on it. So get across, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Thanks for watching as always.